Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is put in more effort and less play. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us put hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. This also goes for every Trinbagonian who want to live in a foreign land. Now is the time to come home and do something, instead of staying out there and freezing. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us put hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Grenada belongs to all of us. You can be in the diaspora. You might be in Carriacou, Petit Martinique, Grenada. The state of Grenada belongs to all of us, right? The state belongs to you and I, and we must do everything in our power to make sure that we develop it, we enhance it, we better it for our children and children. I want to welcome you wherever you are. Maybe you're out there in the diaspora, maybe you're in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and you're locked on. I want to encourage those on Facebook, as usual, share the live. YouTube, do the same thing. Subscribe, share the live. I want to say, again, when you hear the NNP or the surrogates of the NNP or the leadership of the NNP say, well, they didn't see nothing done, you must understand what they're talking about. And that is what I will try to explain to you, because I want you to be better able to connect, to identify, to relate to what they're actually saying. Remember, I spoke to you about the poor and the vulnerable, that industry that they created, that the NNP created over many years. They want to see you poor. They want you to remain poor and vulnerable. In fact, yesterday at that press conference, the old bull, the old Morocco, had to defend that, because that stuck with the Grenadian people. So I did a really good job in honestly explaining to the Grenadian people that the NNP wants to see you poor. They want to keep you poor and vulnerable. They did nothing to help you from where you are, because you're still there. They did nothing to help you out from your poverty, from your vulnerability. They kept you there, dependent and in need. And they have always exploited that. In fact, the said individual made a reference to what they did when they lost the election in 2008 and when they lost the election in 1990. So he knows very well how to get back into power. Because if you make these people poor and you keep them poor, a government who comes in and trying to change their mindset and do things differently, try to provide them with opportunities, make them more prosperous and better, will find it very hard to get them to change their mindset, to get them to change their vote, to move from that party who kept them in poverty, because poverty has been normalized by the NNP. They make these people believe being poor is a normal thing and it's all cool. So it's a difficult thing for a party like the NDC to come in and try to change the mindset of these people. You know, you go into communities and there is a person who people will tell you cannot walk. And you go 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and the person start walking and they asking, but was it a miracle? What did you do to cause that person to walk? But you simply went there and say to the person, walk. Say to the person, you could walk, walk. Just that. And the person started walking. Because the people in the community made the person believe that they just cannot walk. Maybe they had an encounter with arthritis or some kind of sickness. And from then on, they're afraid to walk because the people in the community make them believe that they cannot walk. But all you did is to say, walk. And you could walk. Get up and walk. And the person started walking. And that is what the NNP did to a lot of NNP supporters. They make them believe they cannot work. They make them believe they cannot expand and get, rich. They cannot be prosperous. The children cannot go to university and so on. They make them believe that they have to come to beg them for a work or beg them for some money to buy gas or beg them for X or beg them for Y in a constituency office. That is what the NNP did to these people. So they make them believe that poverty is a normal thing. So you remain in poverty. So you're using a pit latrine and you don't want to move from a pit latrine to a flushable toilet. You don't want to, move from begging the minister to getting a work, to earning your own daily bread. You don't want that, right? Because you're going to get everything from them. We are saying that we have to break that mindset. We have to change that mindset because it is a mindset. It's a disease. So the NNP had to defend that because the Grenadian people now seeing what I am saying and what I have been saying for the many years. The NNP made a lot of people in Grenada poor and vulnerable. And the reason for making them poor and vulnerable is to get their votes. So when they're out of power, all you hear them saying, the poor and the vulnerable, the poor and the vulnerable, you make these people poor. And then these poor and vulnerable people will believe that the NNP is genuine about them. Look at Keith Mitchell, for example. Look at this guy. He's $19 million rich. And when I refer to the NNP, I'm referring to the NNP administration, the NNP government. When they were there, the NNP administration, not just the party. We're not concerned about the party. We're concerned about when they were in government, because they could only do things when they're in government. When in opposition, they just complain. So I am saying, look at him. He has $19 million. He's $19 million rich. What do you have as a supporter of the NNP? What have you achieved? Most of the supporters of the NNP, they're working within government. They're not permanent. They're on some contract because the NNP put them on contract, so they cannot get a loan. There is no upward mobility. They have no job security. That is what the NNP did to them. So the NNP make these people poor and make them vulnerable. It is sad, but that is the reality. So he had to now defend this idea out there because people now understand that the NNP is not good for Grenadian people. Because there are too many people after 23 years and a half that the NNP actually left in poverty, left vulnerable, and their children became vulnerable and still exist in poverty. So the NDC is doing a lot to help these people to move out of poverty. Because once any one of them becomes educated, any one of them, once they attain higher education, start to work and on the daily bread, NNP would not get their vote. NNP will not get their vote. And that's a fact. So I am saying, folks, I was so happy, very, very happy to see that the NNP Morocco, the NNP Old Bull, had to defend that whole notion out there. They challenge him to say, well, every time you open your mouth, it's about the poor and the vulnerable. What's about the working people of the country? What's about the people who are comfortable in terms of their standard of living and so on? What's about the other people? It's just the poor and the vulnerable, the poor and the vulnerable. Because he knows that there are more poor and vulnerable people in Grenada than anything else. But you were there for 23 years and a half. What did you do to take these people out of poverty? To take them out from their vulnerable state? You kept them there. But the NDC is in power now and trying to lift these people out of poverty, out of their vulnerable state. Well, boy, the NNP vex. The NNP angry. So every time they open their mouth, it's about the poor and the vulnerable, the poor and the vulnerable. But you make them poor and you make them vulnerable. And anytime you hear the NNP say nothing ain't taking place, they're not seeing anything happening in the country, they are referring to a concrete road or a concrete drain or some concrete building. That is what they want to see. And that is what they know. So the NDC is investing in our people, in the development of our people. Because once our people are developed, getting the opportunities and making good with the opportunities that they get, then everything will be transformed. So to the NNP, if they don't see a piece of concrete drain done, or a piece of concrete road done, or a concrete building erected, it means that nothing is happening. So the free tuition to the NNP, that's nothing. Because they cannot, see it as a concrete building or a piece of concrete drain or a piece of concrete road. But to the parent who has 2 children going to Tamsisi or Nulo, they now can save $810 from Tamsisi and $750 from Nulo, because that's money that they had to find to pay the tuition for their children to go to Tamsisi and Nulo. But to the NNP, that's nothing. The scholarships for students who are interested in the creative industry at TAMCC. It's free. The government made that free. The government is paying for that. Saying to the students who are interested in the creative sector, right? Videography, photography, drama, art, that kind of stuff. You have a free access, artist. You're an artist. You singing, you performing, that kind of stuff. You're producing music or stuff that is considered to be creative, right? You can now go to TAMCC for free and earn your associate's degree or earn certificates in that field. That is great, but to the NNP, that's nothing. Amazing. To them, that is nothing unless they see a piece of concrete road, a piece of concrete drain, or a concrete building. When the NDC paid the pension and the gratuity to hardworking teachers, police officers, nurses, prison officers, folks who work with government in different departments and are retired, they protested, they demonstrated for years on the streets when the NNP was in power. The NNP refused to pay them their pension and their gratuity. The NDC came and paid $75.1 million to those who retired and were entitled to their pension and their gratuity. So they got their retroactive pension and they got their gratuity and they continue to get their pension until they're dead. But to the NNP, that's nothing. Because that is what they're out there saying. Nothing has been done. Nothing is happening. To the NNP, that's nothing. Because it's not a piece of concrete road. It's not a piece of concrete drain. It is not a concrete building. When the NDC paid the dock salaries for the teachers, the NNP took money from the salaries of teachers, $1.2 million from their salary because they decided to demonstrate and protest for their pension and their gratuity as promised by the NNP through that MOU. The NNP reneged. They did not pay them their pension and their gratuity. So they decided to demonstrate and protest. What did the NNP do? They went into their salary and took their money from their salary. They docked their salary. The NDC came and they paid them back their money, $1.2 million. Teachers then started doing the extra stuff that they are accustomed to doing. Extra classes, sporting events, debates, science fairs, just name it. Right? Spelling bee, and we can go on and on. Because they were not doing that when the NNP docked their salaries. So we had intercall, we had primary school sports, we had parish sports, we had all kinds of sports. That was because the dock salaries were paid. But to the NNP, that's nothing. Because the NNP is looking for a piece of concrete drain, a piece of concrete road, and some concrete building. The NDC did not stop the farm labor program. No, they expanded that program. They changed it a bit to say to the farmer, we are not going to bring people on your farm. You're accustomed having your workers on your farm, and plants can react to certain people touching. There's some people, when they touch your lime tree, dead. When they touch your sauersup, blight taking it. So you're accustomed with certain workers on your farm and you have to find the money to pay them. So just continue with them and government will pay. So to the NNP, that's nothing. The farmers with the farm labor program, only recently, $27 million were received from the World Bank for farmers, to make sure that they would produce more, to help them to produce more, to package, to process, to add value to what they are doing. $27 million. But to the NNP, that's nothing, because it's not a piece of concrete road, it is not a piece of concrete drain, and it's not a concrete building. The NNP knows fully well when they speak about not seeing anything, not feeling anything, and nothing is happening, they are referring to a piece of concrete draining, a piece of concrete road, and a piece of concrete building. That is what they're referring to. The NDC did not stop the housing program, the housing repair program. That continues. People are benefiting from that program. The NDC did not stop the debushing program. People continue to benefit from that program. The NDC did not stop the poor relief assistance program. That program continues. But when the NDC gave 100% concession to the creatives, the people in the creative industry, to bring in the equipment and to bring in what is required to continue their livelihood, the NNP saying that's nothing. They don't consider that to be anything. When the NDC roll out the CES grant and paid some $15.1 million to Grenadians who wanted to start their own little business, who wanted to expand that business they had, that micro, small, medium-sized business, and create employment in a very localized way, to the NNP, that's nothing. You have people today who, because of that $30,000 grant, were able to start their own little business, expand their little business. But to the NNP, that's nothing, because it's not a piece of concrete drain. It is not a piece of concrete road. It is not a concrete building. So to the NNP, that's nothing. Nothing is happening. When the NDC gave the hardworking teachers, police officers, nurses, prison officers, doctors, public servants across the board, those who are working on the farms and just name it, when they gave them that increase of 13% over a 3-year period, and all the fringe benefits that they were negotiating for, better working conditions and so on, to the NNP, that's nothing. They don't see that as anything. The workers before, when they had to get an increase, they had to be marching in the streets on the NNP, demonstrating, protesting for a little increase. And don't even talk about fringe benefits. They couldn't even mention that. The NNP were not giving them any fringe benefits. Nothing whatsoever. The police, only recently, they made it very clear. They were negotiating for many years for fringe benefits. They got it under the NDC with the increase. And now they're working on the pay and grade system for the police officers, who people always say is NNP and NNP, but they got nothing under the NNP, except a selected few of them got promotion over and over and over again, and the others were left abandoned. But to the NNP, that's nothing. They ain't seen anything happening. The minimum wage adjustment for workers in this country, NNP failed for 23 years and a half to adjust the wages of Grenadians, the mason, the carpenter, the laborer, the helper, the plumber, the electrician, the bus conductor, the bus driver, the cooks, the folks who work in the Syrian and Indian stores. Come on. The lower end workers, the folks who work on the farms. Yeah. Adjusting that. The folks who work in the hotel industry. Come on. But to the NNP, that's nothing. And the law says every 3 years that must be adjusted. It was not done under the NNP, period, because they don't care about the working man in this country. But to the NNP, that's nothing, because they want to see a piece of concrete drain, a piece of concrete road, a piece of concrete building. The NDC was able to renegotiate with the United Kingdom government to get back that lost 20 million US. Come on. Because remember the two projects, we lost the water expansion project, and we lost that other project dealing with the Western Main Road development or the Western Corridor, right? That whole development. So we lost that money under the NNP because they did not implement anything. And it was grant money. The NDC was able to renegotiate and get back at least 20 million. So we did not get back the 6 point something million pounds, but we were able to get back at least 20 million US for the water expansion project. But to the NNP, that's nothing. To them, that's nothing, man. Yeah? Because it's not a piece of concrete road or a concrete drain or a concrete house or building. The NDC was able to introduce Grenadian history. Only yesterday, they had the official launch of that book by a Grenadian author, Grenadian history, back in our primary and secondary schools. Pre-primary, primary and secondary schools. Back in our schools. Grenadian history. But to the NNP, that's nothing. They didn't see anything happening. That's nothing. Yeah. They don't care about history. In fact, they vex. They're angry that Grenadian history will be taught in our schools. The NDC was able to get back the lands that were given for free to some individual. They say he will promote Grenada. All you seen, his dog has a Grenadian, well, a scarf with a Grenadian flag on it. His dog. Yeah. Amazing. So we were able to get back that land. Our land. It was land that every year the hotel was paying $250,000 to the government of Grenada. But the NNP just pick it up and just give it to this non-national because he's not a born Grenadian. He's not a born Grenadian. And it's not even his father was not born here. He was not born here. His father was not born here. His grandfather, Amazingly. Amazing. Just pick up the land and, title and everything and just give him. Freehold. It's yours. But the NDC was able to take back that land, even if they had to then come and give him 5 million US or give that company 5 million US to get it back. Right? And that is money that could have remained in the hands of the Grenadian people in the first instance if the NNP didn't give it away. You understand the point? 5 million US. The NDC was able to get back the land. But to the NNP, that's nothing. That's nothing. Then the Kiwana Bay Resort, the developer, remember he was an ambassador in Florida in the United States? Very close with the then administration. Tutus, they fell out. And the development where the Flamboyant Hotel used to be, it was far advanced. But with NNP's arrogance, they fell out with the developer. The buildings just stood there, prime property. And the developer decided to take the matter to the international court for settlement. And we knew that the NNP has a bad record there. Certainly they would have lost. The NDC again came to the rescue and negotiated a settlement and got that property to be in the name of the Grenadian people. And then another developer will get that property and develop it because we need to create jobs and opportunities. You know the NNP vex? They angry. In fact, the press conference yesterday, the old bull, the old Morocco, displayed a lot of arrogance and bitterness, which is sad. But to him, that's nothing because it's not a piece of concrete drain. It is not a piece of concrete road or some concrete building. And the NDC is not talking about the poor and the vulnerable. Every time they open them out, the poor and the vulnerable. That's an industry that the NNP created. The NNP created the poor and vulnerable industry to keep these people poor. So they're going to go back and vote for them over and over and over again. Over and over again. They're not giving these people some bait, a fishing line or a fishing rod to go and fish. They want them to come and beg them for a piece of fish every day. And the Honorable Delma Thomas explained that well. And the minute time you decide, well, I want my independence and I want to be able to freely speak, then they cut the fish that you used to get. So you have to fend for yourself now. But to the NNP, that's nothing. Unless it's not a piece of concrete drain or a concrete road or a concrete building, that's nothing. TVET, the technical and vocational education being introduced in our schools. So a person who is not academically inclined, meaning that they're not interested so much in biology and chemistry and physics, they can now go and do masonry and carpentry, plumbing, electrical engineering. They can be a joiner, learn to make furniture and so on. They can learn to cook. They can learn to sew. They can make things with their hands. But to the NNP, that's nothing. Because it's not a piece of concrete road, concrete drain, some concrete building. The refurbishing of medical stations throughout the island. To the NNP, that's nothing. They don't care about that. They don't care about healthcare. The NNP don't care about healthcare. The government hiring 8 new doctors to be at the general hospital. To the NNP, that's nothing. It's not a piece of concrete road or concrete drain or concrete building. That's nothing. The refurbishing of schools and expanding schools and putting labs, computer labs and science labs and staff rooms being refurbished and expanded and bathroom facilities and so, that's nothing to the NNP. Making the Princess Alice Hospital in Carriacou climate smart hospital, that's nothing to the NNP. Seeking to construct a teaching hospital facility to the NNP, that's nothing. That's how they think. As long as it's not a piece of concrete drain or concrete road, that's nothing. The NNP has become a nothing party. They represent nothing. They complain, they grind, they groan, they scream, they bawl, they moan. That's NNP. And their supporters continue to live in extreme poverty. And not just physical poverty, poverty of the mind. Because that's where the battle is, in the mind. So every time they open their mouth and they say, well, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Yeah. That's how they say, nothing is happening. I ain't seen nothing. Nothing in the economy. Nothing is happening. That's how they say it. The government introducing the bi-monthly salary payment. They say that's nothing, but go and speak to the workers who used to have to scrape to make it to the end of the month. They're now able to get salaries on the 15th, salaries on their salary on the 30th. So they're able to make it to the end and save something. It's amazing, but to the NNP, that's nothing. Every time they open their mouth, I ain't see nothing happening. Yeah, we getting more air flights, right? Getting more planes to come to the Grenada to pick up our people, to drop them off and pick them back up and connect them with the other islands and connect them to the world. Increase traffic, right? But to the NNP, that's nothing. They want our people to be stuck here and not able to come to Grenada or leave Grenada. To the NNP, that's nothing. Because it's not a piece of concrete road or a concrete drain or... That's how they think. The folks doing the asphalt paving of the roads, they're doing a fantastic job. They're doing it differently. The NNP angry, they're upset. Because the NNP is all about a piece of concrete drain or a piece of concrete road. So to them, that's nothing. All the scholarships given to our people to go overseas, different universities around the world to pursue higher education, to them, that's nothing. The NNP is upset, that's nothing. They complain about a piece of bridge, the wooden bridge in Pearls. NDC, fix it. And mind you, that bridge was in that state under the NNP. They did not fix it. NDC fix it. They fixed the bridge. But to NNP, that's nothing. That's their job. They had to fix it, but it was your job. You didn't fix it. The erecting of the traffic lights. The NNP had to do it. They didn't do it. The NDC came and they did it. It's not functional as yet, but all the infrastructure is up and ready to go. But to the NNP, that's nothing. Yeah, that's nothing. That's how they function. You look at what's happening in Karakou and the amount of work that's happening there. But to the NNP, it's nothing. Because the NNP just want to see a piece of concrete road and a piece of concrete drain. It's like a woman in a relationship. And sometimes you have to look at it in that light, you know. You sleep with the man, day and night, whenever. But you will say, I doesn't beg him now. I ain't want nothing from him now. Right? So be it. But all you want, you know, he sleep with you and wake up and go and whatever. And that's it. And you stay in your same condition. But you might give you a little $50, a little $100, and you're cool with that. Every now and then he give you a little $100 or $200, and you're okay. But your bathroom needs fixing. You're not saying, well, let us work on fixing the bathroom. Move from pit latrine or pit toilet to bathroom and toilet facility, flushable bathroom and flushable toilet and, you know, bathroom and bath. You're not saying that. You're not saying, well, let's work on the veranda now. Let's work on the roof now, fix the house. Right? Let's open a little business right here now, downstairs and so. You're not thinking in that light. All you want is a little $200 and you're okay with that. And he sleep with you every now and then and he wake up and go. You're not thinking big. You're not thinking beyond. That's how the NNP operates generally, you know. Generally, that's all. That's how they operate, the NNP supporters. That's all they want. So the man come, he sleep with them, and, you know, every now and then he give you $100 or $200, and that's it. But you have your bathroom falling down, your house falling down, they could take a bamboo and juke you inside the house. Your child wants to go to university, needs some help, or wants to go to college, needs some help. You're not focusing on that for him to help you where that is concerned. Right? It's what it is. That's how the NNP supporters think. They're not about upward mobility. They're not about development. They're not about holistic development. They're not about growth. They don't want that. Just the simple things, right? Wake up in the morning, cook up a whole pot of rice, white rice, and stew some chicken. And they eat and the belly full. It's not nutritious. You just eat to number two, right? Trash. You just eat rubbish. But that's how they function. They bring news, gossip all day, and then they back on track again next day doing the same thing. That's how they function. That's how the NNP make them function. You go throughout the country, and if you see the condition that the NNP supporters existing and living in, and then you compare them with Keith Mitchell, you compare them with the other folks, they live in high and mighty and good. But then these people live in poverty, real poverty. And it reflects even on the children. When you look at the children, you know, the shoes and the thing and the mud and the dirt and the, you know, and you go on and on. They depend on the poor relief assistance, the $300, and that is why they're making a big fuss over that, you know. The poor relief assistance. And every time they open them out, it's about the poor and the vulnerable, the poor and the vulnerable. They don't care about you. They want to keep you poor and keep you vulnerable, keep you stuck in that situation. But we want upward mobility. We want you to be better. We want you to expand. We want you to grow and develop. And that is why I say you can't straighten them old tree and them, you know. Focus on them young trees that are coming up. Focus on them so you can instill certain things in them. So you can make them change. So you can make them break that cycle. But them old tree and them, you know, any way you see an NNP supporter, you could identify them easily. It's not hard. It's not hard. The profile, they fit the same profile, and the NNP make them poor. And the NNP keeping them poor, even in opposition. The NNP make these people, the NNP administration, make them poor, and they keeping them poor. Mentally. Just think about it. Observe what's taking place. It is sad. Very, very. Anytime they open them out, every time they open them out, it's about the poor and the vulnerable. They don't care about you, Keith Mitchell. Look at him. He has millions of dollars. Why you not giving out some? Why not helping you? So you could move out from your poverty and live a comfortable life? No. No. He's not concerned about that. He's concerned about talking, coming on the air and talk. That's all he's fit for. Talking, complaining, grinding and groaning, and making himself a lunatic in the parliament. Sit down, shut up. Liquor boy. Huh? Liquor boy, sit down. Yeah, I'm your liquor child. Yes, sit down and shut up. You're making yourself a political lunatic in your old age. Sad, but that's the reality that Grenadians are confronted with or confronted by. But he has a lot of money. What are he giving you? What he's actually doing to help you? Huh? Have you heard about any project, any initiative that Keith Mitchell pioneered or started while in opposition? Only going and make himself a lunatic on national TV and radio. It's amazing. He has resources. What are you doing with it? You see anything where Keith Mitchell giving out bags and shoes and school uniform or anything of that sort? This man don't spend his money to help anybody, in my belief. If he was in government, then the government resources would be used by the NNP administration to make people believe that it's some personal thing. I'm telling you, he don't spend no money on his personal money to do anything. He's studying all you. Most of them NNP are bumping their gum. You're living in poverty and you're catching your royal to make ends meet and you're stuck there for a long, long time. And the NDC trying to help you. But you don't want help? No, you don't want to come out from poverty because they teach you that poverty to you is normal. It's a normal thing. It's like you go in a village and you say to a person, well, I want to repair your roof. And the NNP say, nah, don't make them repair your roof. They want your vote. Yeah. You come to repair their roof, But the NNP will say, don't take it. They want your vote. But the NNP not repairing your roof, but they're getting your vote without repairing your roof. It's amazing. It's amazing, people. But boy, more you live is more you learn. And it must be a learning curve for our people. Every time the NNP open their mouth, that's nothing. It's nothing. Because they didn't see a concrete road or a concrete street.
Grenadians and friends of Grenada in South Florida, our beloved political leader and Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, is coming to celebrate with us at a grand gala on Saturday, October 14th at the luxurious Floridian Ballroom in Pembroke Pines. The occasion will mark the first anniversary of the NDC Florida chapter. Prime Minister Mitchell will be delivering the keynote address outlining his vision for the development of our beautiful tri-island state. Meet and greet the distinguished Caribbean leader. The gala starts at 7 p.m. with a cocktail hour followed by dinner and dance. Tickets to the gala is only $200 and are available from any member of the NDC Florida chapter or online at gotofed.com. Proceeds towards the construction of the party's resource center and other programs of the chapter. So get your tickets now for the NDC Florida chapter inaugural gala, October 14th at the Floridian Ballroom, Pembroke Pines, Florida. You can't afford to miss it.
That support that gala. I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. I will continue on that journey with you because it's all about empowerment. It's all about enlightenment. I want you to be better off. I want you to be living a more comfortable life. I want you to be stuck in poverty and hardship. And no, I want good for you and your family. I want good for your community. And that is why I continue to facilitate a robust intellectual conversation on this program. This program is not plead your cause where you call and complain and talk all kind of rubbish. Once it's a person calling over and over and over. And what they say and what they ain't saying is the same nonsense. This program is a higher learning. All right? This program is second to none. It is superior from the other programs. It's about teaching you to be something better, to become something better. Have a wonderful day. I'll be back with you tonight in